Now watch Joe Biden.
Can everybody hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I may be the only one unmuted. I don't know what happened to my video.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, John.
It's okay. I don't need to be seen.
I know what you're drinking.
Including John, about we have 9.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Or, let's see where I can. Hour 11.
Cleveland played a hell of a game last night, Dave.
Was that something or what?
Oh, that was a great game to watch. Yeah.
Didn't sit down for 3 hours.
Who all are we expecting tonight?
From the board, or
Yes.
we have 3 of us in the room,
Yeah.
and I thought maybe. Oh, looks like Bob's joining.
Yeah,
There he
there's
is.
Bob. Okay.
Couple more minutes, when everybody can hear us. Pardon our awkwardness using the technology. I am going to try to monitor chat, if I can find it on here, see if we can answer, but otherwise we can take questions through,
Just ask.
just ask the questions over, you'll have to unmute yourself. If there are questions, as we get towards the end. I think our anticipated time, I scheduled an hour, but I don't think it's gonna be.
I don't think it'll be that long.
That
If we
long.
got questions,
You're right.
we're gonna take as many as we need to.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Pat.
There's Pat.
Be able to get this up on the TV.
You have to unmute Pat.
Light just came on.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Is that better?
Oh, yeah. All right, so I guess we get everybody to mute themselves until they have a question, and then,
Yeah, well, I can mute everyone too. All right, we're looking like we have 20 altogether, plus 3 of us, 3 board members in the foundation. So guys, welcome. I am going to mute everyone. If there's a question towards the end, I will try to monitor that and get everybody's questions in so that we can at least address those. But we'll try to do that towards the
You can
end.
just hear it. It's good enough.
No, we can't see you.
I think that was David.
I guess
Okay,
parking is more popular than
that's okay.
we're on 24 people.
Well, let's get started. Good evening, everybody. My name's John Eddy. I am on the board of directors. I'm also the safety part of the strategic long-range plan. We have been busy the last couple years with the SLRP. And as you know, if you are one of the unlucky ones that live on the ski slope, during the summer, not a big deal. Nobody comes to bother you. Lots of parking spaces, no problem. Come winter time, now we have issues. And besides the fact of our own homeowners coming to park in your spaces, we also had general public that would come up and park in your spaces. This has been worked on for a long time. We have guidelines that go back to 2009 and even before that in
Hello?
regards. Hello? In regards to the parking and the towing policy.
Can't hear John, Eddie.
I think somebody muted all and took him up.
Hello?
He doesn't know that he's muted. He's
Hey,
talking.
Bob.
I can't hear.
We
Hey,
can't hear
guys,
you,
no one
John.
can hear you.
The host needs to unmute, John.
Is there anybody else there?
Yes, can you hear me?
I see a lot of faces, but no.
Yeah, I think the host muted themselves. We can't hear. We have no audio.
Yeah, the host muted everyone and yeah, we see the fingers up there at Hidden Valley Foundation. I don't think John Eddy knows that he's muted yet, maybe.
You can come over here because I have the audio turned off.
Okay, try that.
Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Did anybody hear me speak in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we heard the opening, John.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, continuing, because of what happened with, at one time, we had 254 condos on the market for Airbnb during the summer.
Hello? Bob, you there?
Can anybody still hear me? Sorry.
Yes, we
Okay,
can hear you, John.
Yes,
thank
now.
you. So I'm going to continue. So John Sabo, Doug Henley, and I have been charged with looking at the parking policy with input from the rules and regs. And what we think we've come up with is a possibility of helping out those people and condo owners that are on the ski slope side of things. Should be a simple thing. We need more parking spaces, or we need to figure out how to get more parking spaces, or we need to figure out how to keep people from parking in the condo owners area. Lo and behold, as we are going through all the paperwork and looking at the CC&Rs, we find out that everybody, all the condo associations are different. If I'm in the Heights, I have 2 parking spaces per condo. If I'm at the Summit, I have 2 parking spaces per condo. If I'm at the Highlands Condo Association, I get to bring 1 car and cut my other car in half because there's only room for 1.5 cars. If I'm down at Lakeview, I get 1. So all of a sudden, a simple problem has turned into what ifs, what do we do?
You just say they were built that way.
And they were built that way. Unfortunately, when Kettler built it, that's how he did it.
Earth to anyone, come in.
No fault.
Earth to anyone, come in.
It's no fault of ours. It's no fault of the homeowners. It's no fault of the condo associations, but we are left with parking issues that we had nothing to do with, and now we got to try and fix it. So what do we do here? There's a few ways to look at it. Well, we need to have more parking spaces. That includes 2 things. 1, cost, and number 2, where do we put those additional spaces? Some of the areas, we think we can add more spaces. Other areas, there's no way we can do it because it's locked in by trees or other structures. That's not a possibility. If we wanted to give Lakeview more spaces, there's no place to put that unless we were to put a parking garage up, and cost effectively that's not going to work. So when I talk about what we're going to do from a parking standpoint, Lakeview and Lake Road are really out of the picture because they're locked in by land on how many spaces are available there. Now, if you talk about the condo stations up on top of the mountain, you talk about Summit, you talk about Highlands condos, over the years, we have been able to do some things with the paving that has pushed the parking lots out from which they originally were. We now do have some additional spots, both at the Summit and at the Highlands area, but not nearly enough to accommodate the needs of all the condo owners. So I was all prepared to come in front of you tonight and say, this is our plan, this is what we're going to do, it's going to work, and it's going to be great, and everybody's going to be happy, and I won't be hung in effigy until after the weekend. But after talking with security, after talking with our IT people, and talking with our maintenance, and in talking with staff, we didn't have everything together to present to you what we wanted. I'm going to give you a breakdown of what we think we're going to be able to do. How we get there will be the next steps. So, for instance, Highlands Condo Association atop of the Triple, Summit at the crossover. We are going to give each of those condo owners 2 parking passes for their cars. They will have to register with the foundation. You're going to have a separate color which you will hang from your mirror to allow security to know that you're a homeowner, you're allowed to park there.
Hey, T.
Second issue will be, well, what if I have friends that come up? What if I want to rent the unit? What do I do? Well, if you're a rental, you'll actually go online like we did for the pool to have all that paperwork filled out, and you'll be able to download certain information to give to the office, and you will be able to come to the office and get different colored tags for your car. If you're at the summit, you'll be able to get 2 tags for your car. If you're renting on top of the mountain by Highlands Condo or Taylor or those areas, you're only going to get 1 tag for the car because we don't have enough spaces. In the meantime, we passed the policy because of being able to tow. Surprisingly enough, the foundation has always been able to tow cars. Nobody has ever done that. For whatever reason, we've just not done that. We have 6 different fire lanes on the mountain. They've always been in a position where if you park there, you will be towed. So how are we going to solve this? How are we going to keep people from going into areas which they don't have a pass for? And what we think we are going to do is, and this is where security becomes involved, when you come in during the winter, you're going to have your tag on your mirror. If your tag is not on your mirror, your license plates will be recorded by security. You will also have a piece of paper put on your windshield that's going to say, we're not sure if you're a homeowner, we're not sure if you are allowed to park here, but we're giving you a warning that if we find your car here next time, your car will be towed. Now, the issue is, how many warnings do we give people? Do we give them 1? Do we give them 2? You know, it's been all over the lot. There are some of us that say, give everybody a mulligan, and then after that, the car's gone. This is a new process. Part of me says we give people 2 times, and after that, their car's going to be towed. Well, if the car is towed, John Eddie, who's going to take these people to get the cars out of the car pound? I was nice for 2 times. The 3rd time, you were warned the car's going to go. We figure if it happens once or twice, I don't think we'll have problems with anybody parking in those parking spaces the rest of the winter. Because word will get out that, geez, the foundation actually is carrying on through on what they said they were going to do all along. So I still have to come back to those of you that are participating tonight with how it's going to be implemented. But that's the basics of where we are. Now, I said at the board meeting in November that this was going to be an experiment to see what was going to happen. Nothing is written in stone right now. So there are 27 of you listening to me, and I really would like feedback on what your thoughts are, what might work, what isn't going to work, and things that we may not have thought about that have an impact on this. So we're going to unmute, and feel free to ask questions, and we'll try to answer as best we can.
So give me a second to figure out how to unmute everybody. Although I think you guys might have the option on your own.
Why can't I hear these people?
Kathy in the left-hand corner's got a question.
Volume is almost 100%.
I can't hear that.
Well, right there.
Can you hear me? This is Kathy. I'm not Kathy, but under Kathy's phone.
Yes, we can hear you, Kathy.
I'm actually Luke. But I have a question. We've been residents up at the summit for past 10 years, and we go almost every weekend in the winter, and we've never had an issue with parking. I'm wondering what's stemming this conversation at the summit.
Summit's been the the Summit's been the 3rd place. The Summit is going to become important because the Summit has we figure somewhere between 30 to 40 additional parking spaces that can be used for overflow.
Why don't you just do it
Part of
over?
what security was going to do was
You have to have
to
it.
also put a piece of paper on the windshield which said, hey, next time, instead of using this place at the Highlands condos, think about going over the Summit and parking over there where we have overflow space.
Now,
Now,
well,
go ahead.
so you're gonna have other people from other condos parking in our lot, I guess, to solve their issues, but then isn't that gonna cause our lot to be more crowded now?
Well, no, you still will have your parking spaces available. You will have you'll have first come, first serve on all this stuff.
John Eddie's.
But then, so we're only gonna have 2 parking spots, so if we have
John Eddie's
guests
just screwing
over,
us up.
I understand it's always been the policy we're only gonna have 2, but it was never really an issue to have a 3rd car come up as a guest. Now that seems like not gonna be a possibility. Is that the case?
Well, it's interesting. You're correct. It never has been an issue before. Do you realize that our CC&Rs allow only 2 cars per condo?
Understood.
Ever?
That's what I said. I said I understand it's in the rules, but it's never been an issue. So, at 10 years status quo, I that's what I'm just wondering what's going on here with this.
So one of the things that Doug and I have talked about was, all right, let's say you do have friends that are coming up. There is overflow at the Summit. There's nothing wrong by being able to come over to the office and say, I need a 3rd tag for 24 or 48 hours. We've talked about that. We just don't have the mechanism yet to implement it.
John, can you hear me?
Yep.
I think the male voice behind Kathy is asking what's driving this. And I think the point that hasn't been made is that there is no shuttle service this year. So,
Sure, that's true.
because of COVID-19. So we have to assume that people are going to drive to get close to the slopes. And
Correct.
we don't want that to impact homeowners.
But as a Summit resident, we don't have to drive, and it seems like we're being punished because of this.
That's not the intent, was to punish. The intent was, we know there are additional parking spaces towards the back of the Summit condos that can be used. We know there are additional parking spaces down on Summit 2 and Summit 3 that can be used for overflow. It's just a matter of figuring out the implementation, how we can do that. It's not to harm the additional homeowners at the Summit. That's not the intent of this.
You can see.
Okay, it's just our main concern is, like I said, I understand we're only supposed to have 2 cars. It's in the rules, but it's never been an issue for us to have a friend over, have a 3rd car up there in the 10 years we've been there. And it seems like we're going to lose that freedom. And like you said, it's in the rule book, but to us, it doesn't make sense why we're making changes to this. We're fixing a problem, at least for us, that never occurred. So.
And I got to go by what Pat said. I don't know. Yes, we've been working on this, but because of COVID and we're not having a shuttle, that causes a different set of problems that we never would have had to worry about.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So are the parking passes that we have issued that nobody ever uses, the red hang in the windshield, parking passes, the parking passes we use?
Can you tell me who's talking? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Deb.
All right, thank you, Deb. No, actually, different colors altogether. So the old red parking passes that we got early on will not be feasible.
Okay. So when do we get the new passes?
New passes just came in yesterday or today. So again, it's about the implementation of when and how, and that still has to be worked out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So this is Walt Stoy. I live at the Summit and been there for a little over 5 years, I guess. And I also am of the opinion that I was issued my 2 passes and used them the first year, but noticed nobody else did. Never seemed to have had a problem. And you're right, in the winter though, there appears to be people who do park there that are going to ski in, ski out from that location. I guess I'm just concerned about trying to, and I'm glad you're doing this because it's the unattended consequences that you just can't project that will be the issue. When you do something and you go like, well, should have thought about that, but didn't. I would also ask a question on behalf of the ski patrol, since I've been on that for like nearly 20 years, that was that considered at all? Because with there going to be a problem, I think, with parking everywhere, there's the spots down by the lake where the ski patrollers park that has no signage, and everybody likes to park there as well. And that, is that part of the parking plan?
No, Walt, it isn't, and it's not part of the parking plan because the foundation does not own that property. That is resort property.
All right,
Yes.
thanks, John. I kind of thought so, but I figured I'd ask.
No, Doug and I had that discussion, and I've had other discussions with other ski patrol people. And unfortunately, from a foundation standpoint, we have no control over that at all.
Right. Well, thanks on that. And thanks for the effort on this. I appreciate it. I'm glad we're discussing this.
Always. Thanks, Walt. Josh?
Hi, yeah, Josh Hammerstein. My wife and I have a place up in the Highlands condo. Just a quick clarification. So I got the part where, the owners are going to get 2, tags for their cars. Could you, the part that was a little unclear, you had mentioned something about, if you're going to be renting or if you're going to having guests. It was a little unclear what the new procedure is going to be. Could you?
All right, so if you rent, your automatic 2 passes become null and void because they're the homeowner's passes. Your renter will have to go online after you give them that information, and they will have to go online to give us their car, their license plate number, how long they're going to be, the condo that they're going to be at. They will then get passes to use for that allotted time. But you, since you're renting out that condo, will not be able to use your parking spaces for your home. You'll be able to go elsewhere on the mountain, but you won't be able to use the parking spaces in front of your condo because you gave it up with the rental.
Got it. And if you have a guest coming, do you just give them one of yours? How does that work?
If you've got 2 passes and you've got 1 car and your guest is coming up on the other, I don't care. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're using your 2 passes any way you'd like to.
You need to make it clear the passes are to guarantee they have spaces when they come up.
Yeah, the passes are, as Doug said, the passes are to guarantee that you have a place to park when you come up to your condo.
Gotcha.
0 right there.
Gotcha. And will the foundation be? I guess you mentioned that everybody will register their vehicles with the foundation, so that they'll have license plates on file.
For the guest, yes. For the homeowners, we already have a list of the homeowners per condo. There's some issues that we discussed when Sabo was here with our attorney. We may not want to go that route. We just may want to give out the 2 passes to the homeowner and let them do with it what they want. It's only going to be those renters that come up that we want the car and the license plate number.
Got it.
MR's got a question.
Yeah, hi, this is Mike Roberts. I was just
Mike,
curious
how are
about what we're going to do about the unintended consequence of this, which would be the overflow cars moving into other people's parking. So if I can't fit in the Highlands because I got 5 people with me, do 3 end up parking across the street because that's not part of the, permit area? Or is that something we don't want to worry about?
Well, if you got 5 people are coming up, are they coming in 5 different cars? Are they coming in one car,
Yeah, I'm
2
just,
cars?
yeah, and I'm just using that as an example. In other words, I can't park at the Highlands, let's say, because I don't have a permit and I've already used 2 spaces. So I say, gee, I can park across the street because that's not part of the Highlands. How does that get dealt with?
Well, they're gonna all, I know, you're right, they're not part of the condo association, but actually, they do have additional spaces there. You know,
Right.
as Doug and I were talking, you know, we have been all over this. You know, what ifs? I will not sit here and think that we have all the answers. I would never say that. But best guess, when we've talked things through, all I would ask you to do if you bring up an additional person is to let the foundation know that you've got another car so they can give you a temporary pass to use at another location. That's all we'd ask you to do.
Yeah, the concern I got is a little bit different. I agree that that's an effective process. But for example, we live in Eagles Ridge, and during the busy months in the holiday weekends and things, all the parking disappears because everybody has friends and family up, which is understandable. And we might end up parking several parking lots away. My concern is this policy just going to increase the pressure on those areas that aren't as restricted or as organized as the condos will seem to be?
Additional spaces.
Yes and no. If I'm coming skiing, I'm not gonna park in Eagle Ridge and walk to the ski slopes.
Right.
And
Yeah, but
that's one thing that we talked about was, where's the biggest issue right now? The biggest issue is at the top of the slopes. We didn't give too much credence about Eagle Ridge or Eagle View or back in South Ridge or Snowfield because of the distance away from the ski slopes. Now, you're telling me now that there has been an issue because of the number of people coming up for the holidays. We got to relook at that. We didn't get that far because we didn't think that was an issue.
Yeah, I mean, we have, like I said, it's not every weekend by any stretch. But we have people with the driveways and garages who don't want to block their driveway, so they take the townhouse parking and all that nonsense. I was more concerned with someone who says, gee, I got that third car. I think I'll drop it off somewhere else and get, driven back to the Highlands and life will be good. I just don't know if that's a reality or something that is something to be concerned about.
Sure. Well, are we going to be concerned about it? Yes, we got to be concerned about it. Again, we're doing this on an experimental basis. So if we've got issues that we've missed, and I got to tell you, the whole thing about Eagle Ridge, in my wildest dreams, I wouldn't have thought you guys had issues with parking, but I understand with friends coming up. Now, come summertime, that's a whole different story. But from a winter standpoint, it was more to do with the cars and the parking at the top of the slopes. Mm-hmm. So you'll have to forgive me if I'm dancing right now. It's not the fact that we're ignoring it. We just didn't think that far out that you had issues.
Yeah, and again, it's not the end of the world. I don't want to say that. I was just curious about how we think the unintended ripple effect of this might impact things.
Well, you just brought up a good one, which we did not even consider that well.
No, I appreciate what you're doing. Again, I was just curious.
Would it be fair to say, to put words in your mouth?
Go ahead.
This is a framework.
Yes.
You're trying to build a framework around a policy that has existed in some way, shape, or form for
a long time,
but has either not been enforced or is, as written, unenforceable.
Correct.
We have some technology advances that are coming. We have always received complaints on or around the mountain. I used to live in the Heights, and it was a nightmare for rentals down there. We called them the super roofers. We had a nickname for them. They'd rent 2 or 3 homes there, and they'd share it with, 12 or 14 people at some point. and they all had cars, and it was a night, we had cones, we had to put cones out in front just to reserve spots for us to park. So we've always had those issues. Let's just say, this initial call tonight is just to introduce some of the history behind why we have a problem. We have not, we finally did a full audit, you guys did,
Oh, yeah.
a full audit of the homes and the parking associated with those, and we realized we don't have enough parking spots to assign 2 spots per home.
Correct.
So with that knowledge, and that was a developer issue, understanding COVID has eliminated our shuttle for this year, and trying to anticipate some of the the resort is now we're gonna open this weekend. We're getting 16 plus inches of snow tomorrow. We're gonna have a ski season here, and we're anticipating there being some issues similar to what we've had in the past. We're just trying to now at least acknowledge there's an issue. We've identified why, and these guys are trying to build a framework around which we can try to service all of our members, you guys, which is what the board's supposed to do, it's a responsibility, and come up with a way, and I guarantee you the first iteration will not be the last, and we're gonna try to build a way to handle that and service everybody, as equally as possible. Is that fair to say?
That's fair.
Okay.
The other issue is, I had discussions with Bob on this. If we start seeing things, especially at the Highlands and the Summit, that we've got a heck of a lot of cars, I've gotten permission from our treasurer to bring in an extra security guard to watch what is going on and to see who is coming in to park in those spaces. So Dave is right. We've got a concept here that we're trying to get to. This is by no means perfect, but because of the lack of the shuttle, because of not being able to use the resort buildings to go into now because of COVID, cars are going to become where you change, where you warm up, where you eat, where you drink. If the closer you are to the slopes, better off you're going to be. And you know what? If anybody wants to park back in Eagle Ridge and walk to the slopes, God help them. That's great. James.
Yeah, well, I had raised my hand just prior to the previous gentleman, and it kind of just wanted to echo his same concern. We're on Gebhardt, certainly on the perimeter of the issue of what you're talking about. Not going to be probably a high priority for you, but my concern too would be the same as, if we're going to be enforcing it in the close proximity areas, is that going to push things over towards, perimeter areas?
Actually, you are in the area that we're concerned about.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, and like you said, this is early on, and you're just figuring all this out. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I mean, if it was Highland condos and those are being patrolled and being potentially towed, we're probably going to be the next line for someone to park. And there's lots of new homeowners this year. You got the COVID issue, so it definitely could be a concern. And it sounds like you're looking at it. My second question was, have you approached the resort ever? Has anyone ever approached the resort about possibly putting a nice, safe drop-off at the top across from the Highlands condos there, that they planted all those trees for kind of no reason? They could have a nice, safe drop-off there, not parking, but drop-off for some of the people further back in the resort, rather than, sometimes the shuttle used to have to drop kids off right on that main road, but somewhere to be able to pull off in a circle like they have over at Seven Springs, the drop-off areas down below. That would be nice, and it would take less pressure off of down below for the resort.
At one time, that was. And then last year, it got abused. There were 3 or 4 people that parked their cars and walked away. And now, if you take a look at it now, it's a tow-away zone. So have I talked to Jeff Coulter? No. I will do that to find out if we can put that back as being a possibility of a drop-off. But right now, it is a tow-away zone.
Okay. All right, well, it sounds like you guys are on it, and, I appreciate what you're doing, and it's gonna be a challenge, I bet, without the shuttles running, and I know just, you can tell by the lots of new homeowners and, it's gonna be a busy season for sure.
Thank you. Natalie?
Good evening. I'm sorry, I came in about 5 minutes late and I just wanted to verify, when you're talking about Highlands condos, you're talking about Veach and all those areas right over there, correct?
Correct.
I live,
And
and I think
we're also talking about Oliver Way, we're talking about Gristmill, we're talking about Keppel, and we're talking about Tanyard.
okay, because I'm also sort of like, I think James was saying, I'm in the townhouses for Highland Townhomes on Timbercrest, but I'm sort of right there along High Top. And I worry about overflow now coming into our parking lot. And so I'm guessing, when does because my kids walk from our townhouse because it's right over the hill at that stop sign. And I'm just concerned that now we're going to start struggling to have parking, because I think the plowing becomes an issue also. And I don't know, that's hard to deal with, but when they start plowing, we start losing spaces. I don't know if anybody else deals with that in their parking lot, but we lose probably at least one space in every little section, because the plowing doesn't plow it all the way off the concrete. They just plow it and it stops. And then next thing you know, all of our cars are jammed together.
So part of why we are not implementing stuff tonight is because I'm going to tell you right now, if we're going to get the amount of snow that we are tomorrow and Thursday, and the resort is going to open on Friday, our guys and Dependable have got to clean up the parking lots so that we've got spaces to park in. That it won't be just good enough to clean up the spaces. They're going to have to do additional work to get it clean so we got our spaces back. Now, can I promise that's going to happen right now? No, but that has been part of discussions with maintenance about parking, is that we have to make sure our parking lots are clean to the point where we can get as many cars in as possible. So I appreciate the concern.
And Natalie and anyone else really, and that's always been a problem. When I'm down in Hoosier, it's absolutely a problem. Give the officer a call if you happen to notice that you're losing some parking. It's something that we're aware of, and as far as that happening, it would help us greatly to have eyes on the ground. And if you notice it, call somebody out there to make sure that's cleaned up, because we're aware of the parking issue, so that would help.
Thank you.
Dave.
David.
Oh, yeah. John Eddie, thank you for your very humble presentation and your hard work.
Hey, Dave, you live on the south side. How do you like your parking problems?
We actually do have permit parking here. That's why what's generating my comment tonight is I appreciate your hard work, but it just seems to be too complicated. Not for the members, but also for the staff and the security. I don't know how you could keep all this straight.
Well, it's interesting. I had a discussion with the supervisor for Allied Security, who oversees our security guards up here, and I'm talking about all the problems, and we're banging our head because it seems such a simple problem until we got in the CC&Rs, and then we realized we don't have enough parking spaces. And his comment to me was, from your eyes, it seems like it's not fixable. From my eyes, I've had to deal with this before, and it's actually fairly easily fixable. So now that we've gotten all the input from all involved, and again, that is staff, that is maintenance, that is security, that is Dependable, we're going to be able to present a plan to everybody, but it's not set in stone. It will have to be tweaked here and there.
It just seems to be too complicated. And my other comment was, should we push this back to the individual homeowners associations that are affected, rather than trying to resolve this at or the top of the pyramid, let the homeowners associations bring their concerns and then work with their plans.
Summit Condo president has already come to me through Chris Nichols at the office. Whatever we decide to do is good with them.
Until you do it.
Doug has had continuous conversations with Howard at Highlands Condo Association. They have been kept in the loop from the beginning on this.
The way they do it in Pittsburgh, they have vehicles that are equipped to scan all the license plates. So everything's driven by the license plates. What makes it real easy is they have a computer scan all the plates. I don't know if that would be our capability for our security people or not.
Dave, just to give you a heads up, that will be in effect by Memorial Day of 2021. It will not be available right now that we think. But by Memorial Day of 21, what you just talked about, it's called a Helios system through Allied, and we will be able to do that.
Okay, that's not through the stats, through the security people. Okay.
Yes.
Well, good job. Thank you for your hard
You're
work.
welcome.
So not to
Thank
interrupt,
you very much.
not to interrupt, but a question on top of that is, why can't we give all homeowners our information for our licenses to Allied and have it in their own little database, not a scanner, but like instead of having to have hang tags, they could at least look and say, oh, that's a homeowner for there.
Can I ask who's talking?
That's Natalie. I'm sorry. Natalie.
Sorry, thank you.
No, sorry.
We've had this discussion, and it seems simple that we do that.
Too cumbersome.
Right now, it's too cumbersome because we don't have the equipment in place that Dave Oster talked about. We will have this come January. But right now, it's way too cumbersome. All we're asking homeowners is to put that tag on their mirror, and when you leave, take it down.
Otherwise.
It has no other information on it. It does not have information about what condos involved, like the old red tags were. It is strictly, it shows that you're a homeowner in this area. Once you leave, you can take it off.
Mhm.
Otherwise, security's in a paperwork drill for every call.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
No. Walt?
Hi there, thanks. So I was going to point out as well,
Thank you very much.
I figured you'd like that.
Oh, absolutely. No, I don't have room for your reindeer right now unless you use the roof. And since it's brand new, it won't be an issue. It won't collapse.
Well, I'm gonna have this through Christmas for my two granddaughters. Then I got to shave it off because doing patient care, I got to get into an N95 mask down in the patrol room. Anyhow, with everything that was talked about, first let me go back and do this. When it comes to the plowing, the one thing I think that you've got to do is let the folks who do the plowing know to do a good job with that, because sometimes we lose parking spots at the summit anyhow, based on how they plow, and then they can eliminate some. So let's be sure they take care of that, if you would. I was thinking the same thing, to just have, us offer up all the possible license plates numbers of family members that might be at our places. And I understand the issue now. I've got another question, I guess, of unintended consequences. And if the towing takes place, is that, I think is there some legal issues with this where you've got to post a sign as to who's towing and a number for them to call, and for the people.
Absolutely. Yes, Walt, absolutely.
And the people to realize then and not call the state police and say, I've been, my car was stolen. So is signage going to be well posted everywhere, all over the place?
Yes, it will be.
Okay.
Signage has been ordered, right?
Signs are here. We have all the signs.
They're not up yet, though.
No, they're not up yet. No, they're not.
Okay.
And I can guarantee you, they won't be up tomorrow. They won't be up on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday until we get this storm through and we get cleaned up.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'll be looking for them, because I'll be up this weekend to patrol Saturday, Sunday.
If you'd like to see them, come up to Southridge Center, and we can put them out on the table. We can show you.
Yeah. So is there a number on those John, for them to?
There will be.
What's
There
that?
will be.
There will be.
There will be.
Okay.
I have a question. It's Deb.
Ken's got his hand up. I need to take Ken
Okay.
next. There's if you slide scroll to your screen, there's a little electronic raise your hand button. If you haven't noticed that, you can do that. That way okay. That's how I can keep track of who needs to ask the question. So we've got Ken Kugler is next.
Hi. Hi,
How you doing, Ken?
no, not bad. We're relatively new to this. We just became homeowners in Highlands in August.
Congratulations, welcome.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this parking surprise. But I did have a couple of questions, just in general. I mean, this first question relates to just the availability of parking spaces. We're up there every weekend. There's a couple spaces with a handicap sign in front of them, or 1.5 spaces with a handicap sign. I've never seen that space occupied. Is that necessary, I guess, is question one.
Well, if it's marked as handicapped, yes, we got to keep that there.
Okay, I didn't know why it was there, if it was for someone who no longer lives there perhaps, or but anyhow, that's not the important. I guess another question I had is, have you given consideration to, instead of putting the onus on security to go around and count license plates and, okay, this is your second warning, but all that, just assigned spaces for everybody? And that way the onus is on the homeowner. If I come there's someone in my space, I call the tow truck, problem solved.
We've had discussions. We can't do it for the winter, obviously because of not being able to paint lines. Come the spring and summer, when we have bare asphalt and we can get a price on what that's going to cost, yes, that has to be looked at. And we've not ignored it. We have discussed it. But there will be a cost to that, and we don't know what that will be.
Even if it's lines, or if it's, I mean, if we're putting up signage to begin with to identify that you'll be towed if you park here, you know, if that's a signpost with an address on it in front of every space, I guess.
No, there won't be signs up on every space. There'll be signs coming into the parking lots from the entrances.
And then my wife had a question also, just a general question about, is the Highlands pool, does that have extra parking spaces?
Meaning if we have a guest, would they have to register or could they park freely at the pool if space is available?
Well, those spaces are what we figure first come, first served.
Okay.
But we would still want to know that car is there because they're a guest of you. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Deb Summers?
I found the hand. Couple of things. We know that a lot of daytimers park at the top of the mountain at Forbes and Beach, because we live at Taylor, and so we see them come and go with day tickets, not season pass tickets. So that's another issue. I think people have figured out that's really convenient instead of shopping across the parking lot down below. So I think that's another series of skiers that maybe are taking our parking spaces.
They are, absolutely. That's been part of what's driving this.
Yeah. And the second thing, in hearing about the passes, maybe instead of having signs with numbers or painted, maybe all we need is for the different parking areas is a color coded pass, so that, you know, if it's orange, you can park here. And it might be 3 houses from your house if that's a parking space, but you don't own a parking space, you can park in the parking lot, orange and green or whatever. That would probably solve some of the money problem of trying to paint and assign numbers to everybody. just have a covered lot. I know it's an issue. I appreciate your looking into this, and I guess we'll learn a little more this weekend. Thank you.
Yes, we will. And plus the fact, with the new system that'll be coming online in January, we will have the capabilities to do that. Part of what safety in meeting with Allied was a breaking down each individual area as a different color. So you're right. We've had that discussion. There's been discussion about having painted lines for cars in front of each condo. We've had that discussion. We're not ready to go there yet. A lot of this will have to go back to the condo boards to see what membership wants from that standpoint. They may not want the lines. They may just say, park where you want to, and that's fine. We're only doing this right now to take a look from the winter standpoint. Once we get to spring, summer, and fall, it's a whole different game.
Right, right. And I think assigned parking in the winter with lines is not going to be good anyway because we have snow. And so, you know, it's not, if we had little stickers on the cars, on the bumper, then the security wouldn't have to look through the windshields, because if there's snow on the cars, that'll be an issue too.
Yeah, we've had that discussion too. So
Okay, great.
nothing's in stone yet.
You're on it. Thank you so much.
Well, no, thank you. Kathy.
Hi, it's me again. I'm actually Luke, but yeah. So just, I want a clarification for my understanding. We're talking about potentially using the Summit as overflow parking for other condos, correct?
Part of it, yes. There are other spaces that can be used.
Understood. Now, is there going to be prioritization for Summit owners to get the spots near the condos? So we're not going to. Yes?
Yes.
And if I come up on a Saturday afternoon, am I going to have to worry about finding a spot, or am I going to be parking far away from my place? Because there's people, say, from Eagles Ridge or whatever, parking in our lots. Am I going to have? No?
The overflow has more to do with the back part of the Summit parking lot, as well as going down towards Summit 2 and Summit 3, those areas. That's what we're talking about as far as the overflow goes.
Near Gardner Road.
Now how do we differentiate from, is there going to be a Summit parking pass so they know we're Summit residents and we get to park close to the condos?
Yes.
Okay. And has there been any talk with the resort of, can't we use those parking spots to drive and park there when we're going skiing? Like,
which one specifically now?
So this is not for a question for me, I guess. This is a question for someone that wouldn't have a ski in, ski out. Instead of the shuttle, because we don't have the COVID, we don't have the shuttle, can't they just drive and park in the resort parking lot instead of worrying about using these overflows in our condos, which are close to the slopes? But
that's what we want to happen. It doesn't always happen that way, unfortunately.
So I guess we're just concerned of, if we're having other people using the overflow that are associated with us, we're concerned we're not going to have enough parking for ourselves, or we're not going to be prioritized.
You are going to be prioritized.
But you know, you said it right just then. You corrected yourself. You said our parking, and then you corrected yourself and said, well, parking that's associated with the Summit. Those are two different things. So when they did the audit, they did the parking audit, there are areas that only have, like Lake Road, right? Lake
one per condo.
Because of the original design of our living area, the resort here, we only have, certain areas only have one spot per home. Others have mathematically 1.5 spots, and the others have 2 or more. And the Summit is the one, because of the way that they built that, they have more than the 2 allotted per unit.
I understood, but when we purchased Summit, we realized that, and we saw the parking. We didn't purchase Summit with only 1 spot. I mean, we're concerned. Like, My concern is we're really being hindered because we don't use the shuttle ever. This isn't a problem for us. And now we're being presented with these challenges that are going to make it more difficult for us to use our place, honestly. And that's
All right,
just
then
our
you-
concern.
then you gotta explain to me for a second though, why is it gonna be more difficult? You're gonna get 2 parking passes
We have
for
multiple cars.
number.
We have more than 2 cars for our family. We have friends up, and I understand it's against to have over 2 cars, but it's never been an issue before, so we didn't have to worry about getting our guest pass from the place. We've never had a problem. I don't think Summit residents have ever had a problem. I mean, you're trying to give part of our lot away, and that's going to create problems for us that we didn't have to deal with before. And I think other Summit people would agree with what I'm saying. And we just don't want our lots being used because there's no shuttle when there's a giant parking lot at the bottom of the resort that we can use.
No, but nobody's stopping anybody from going down and using those parking spaces down at the resort. It has never been the intention of Doug or I to overflow what's going on at the Summit. It was always to take care of the Summit condo owners and the Highlands condo owners to prevent the stuff that's going on. Do you realize that the Summit condos have 40 additional spaces? Are you aware of that?
I'm aware we have plenty of parking, and that's why I'm wondering why this has been an issue and why we're raising this question.
The issue is because we don't have the shuttle this year. We have a unique situation this year. We're trying to protect the homeowners. That is why we're doing this. You know, I brought something up at the board meeting about towing and having the capability to be a towing, and somebody responded that, oh, you can't do that. That's customer support. You know what? Maybe it is if I work for the resort. I don't work for the resort. I'm on the board of directors for the foundation, which includes everybody up here, 1,200 homeowners. Everything that we're presenting tonight is to protect the homeowners so that you do have parking spaces. And yes, if there are additional spaces, we're going to try and use those. Not to punish the Summit. That's the farthest thing from what we've talked about. But to at least have the option of other cars being able to go there if need be.
We've got Joy.
But now it's almost seems you're encouraging people that they can use our overflow lot instead of protecting us and saying you can't use it. And where they could just have went to the resort instead of parked, making our situation, I guess, more challenging.
It's Hidden Valley Foundation parking.
Correct.
It's not Summit parking.
It's Hidden Valley Foundation.
Hidden Valley Foundation parking. And
Okay, can I park?
The board's responsibility is to all of the homeowners. There's no difference between a Lake Road homeowner and a Summit condo homeowner when it comes to who's ranking their responsibility. Your point, John, and the reason we're doing this is because we anticipate issues without a shuttle this year.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, that's really the extent of it for now.
Yes, and if we start to have issues, then guess what? We will respond to it.
Well, why wouldn't we wait to see if we get issues then? Because we don't know what's going to happen. We're trying to implement this system. And I guess if it's a 1-year issue, COVID's going to be gone eventually. Why are we investing in all these systems when we don't even know we're going to have a problem yet?
Well, we've always had a parking problem. We anticipate it being worse this year.
We're trying to cut it off, and that's why it is an experiment this year. I've said from the beginning, we do not have all the answers yet. We are trying to accommodate all the homeowners. Am I going to throw everybody that doesn't have a parking space over to Summit? Of course not. But there are 40 spaces over there that can be used if we need to. If we need to.
Okay. I mean, I've said my concerns, and it seems like we have a disconnect in what we see, and I guess I don't know where to go from here and what to say, but I think other Summit residents would agree with me that we've never had a problem, and we purchased the place. We realized there's plenty of parking for us. That's part of the selling features. We bought ski in, ski out. We didn't think people would be driving in, using ours as overflow, potentially going skiing when we purchased the place. And that's where we're at. And
Thank you.
we don't want to be punished for other people's situations. And I'm going to leave it at
Joy.
John Eddie, if I may, you know, the difference this year obviously is the pandemic. I don't think that John Eddie and his committee are suggesting that this is a permanent change.
It never was.
What we're trying to do is, again, make sure everybody is able to ski as comfortably as possible, despite the fact that we're in the midst of a pandemic. And so, you know, I think you can be assured that assuming the pandemic doesn't roll into 2022 or you know, early winter of 2021, that we won't be having this discussion, because we're only having it because of the pandemic.
And we're also, Pat, we're also having a discussion because right now we can't build parking lots in the middle of the winter. We've got areas that we are going to try and expand between now and whenever. This is the hand that we have. We're trying to protect the Summit. We're trying to protect the Highlands because we know people are going to want to try and park there. This is an experiment. If we find things aren't working, we will solve them. We will change what we're doing. Joy?
Hi, yes, I'm Joy. This is Brian. We're actually new homeowners in the Summit. So I appreciate everyone taking the time to do this. It's interesting to hear all this. I just had a couple questions. The first question was the one in regards to renters. We do plan on using our condo for ourselves. Oh, did I say we're in the Summit? I can't remember. We're in the Summit.
Yes, you did. Yes,
Okay.
you did.
Okay, so we plan on enjoying it a lot ourselves, but we also want to rent it out maybe once a month. And we do actually already have a couple people lined up for January and February. So for those renters coming, you mentioned going online to be able to give them to sign up for that parking pass. Are you going to be emailing that link for us to give to our renters?
Yes, we will be.
Will
Yes.
that come on that regular HVF email I receive each week?
Well, you'll get it. We got to figure out what's the best way to do it. Whether it's that way, whether it's a blast, whether it's separate, you will get that information.
Okay, so since I got the information about this, you have my email and there's nothing I need to do.
Yeah, but it disappears after the night, so we don't have to listen anymore.
Okay, and then the other.
Welcome to the Summit. Welcome to Hidden Valley.
Thank you. We're very excited. We've come up and skied many times, and finally this year we were like, you know what? We need to finally just buy. So we were
Congrats.
very excited to buy in the Summit. That kind of leads to the second question about I'm just blown away with all the parking issues that are possibly there. So I'm just hoping and trusting. It sounds like you guys know what you're doing and you've got experience in the past dealing with these challenges. It's a shame that the bus can't run. Maybe that could be reconsidered. I don't know, put the windows down, keep your mask on, you're on the bus 10 minutes, whatever.
It will not be reconsidered for this year.
Okay. So
unless miraculously come January 1st, COVID goes away.
I wish it would. I understand. I appreciate your concern though for that. So not a problem. So then the issue then about the overflow parking at the Summit, will there be like a like signage telling people that like here's the overflow
Yes.
area? Okay.
Yes,
Now, are you, when you say Summit 2 and 3, is that North Summit? Is that what that is referring to?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I-
Now, you have to understand, we do not, excuse me, back up. The foundation does not own the last set of condos parking because it hasn't been turned over to the foundation yet. That still falls under Seven Springs. However, since you can get your pass online and with your cell phone, and if somebody were happen to park there and then walk to the slopes because they already have their pass on their phone, who am I to say anything?
Yeah.
I mean, my whole thing is I understand the issue of the other residents that aren't slope side. They, without the bus, they're inconvenienced, and I get that. And I want to, obviously help them. My issue is with the people that are coming just to use the mountain. And they're, because we live in Pittsburgh, we know lots of people that go there and they just park up there and they ski and they just go there just for the day and ski. I have an issue with those people. And that,
So do we.
that's the problem. How do we find those people? I mean, have we ever thought about putting gates where you plug in a number and the gate opens?
Oh yeah, we've had that discussion too. So, everything's on the table right now. What we're talking about for this year, I guarantee you, will be totally changed for next year because we have new systems coming online. Yes, we have talked about gates.
Yeah, then you wouldn't have to pay an employee to sit there. You could just
Yeah.
punch in your number and the gate would go up.
Still control. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, it's about control. There are things that we are going to present to the homeowners as we get closer to opening pool day that will blow you away, what we're going to be able to do.
Good.
Technology.
The knowledge, the knowledge that's there. So there's stuff coming. What we're presenting right now is only to do with what's going on right now from December 17th until the end of ski season in March.
Okay.
After that, everything changes. How we're doing things this year will give us an idea how we're going to do things next year, but it will be different.
When we bought in September, the foundation gave us that little, it looks like a red snow, I can't remember if it's the logo or a red snowflake to put in behind my rearview mirror. Do I still need to?
Nobody
use
uses
that?
them.
Oh,
And nobody
I
uses
did. I already put it on. I was so excited.
For the winter, for the winter, you're going to have a different color tag to use.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
And we'll do one more question. Natalie has her hand up.
We got somebody right here too.
Do that.
I don't
So-
know, it's a number.
It's Natalie. My question is,
Hi, Natalie.
how do we get those passes at this point? Like I'm coming up, obviously, like a lot of others are this weekend, but sometimes I don't get there.
Have a great time. The passes are not available. Have a great time.
Okay, but what about other time when we come up at like midnight? Because that's when from Virginia, we usually get in between 11 and 12.
Okay, I will give you my cell phone, bring a bottle of bourbon, call, I will meet you with the passes.
Sounds awesome.
We will get it worked out.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. We got a telephone number that keeps coming up. I don't know, right there.
I think that may be our, I don't know.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Everybody, thank you so very, very, very much. Again, I said at the board meeting in November, this was an experiment because we don't have a shuttle. As much as Doug and I have spent hours on this and we've argued and we've thrown things and we've had great, great discussions, we don't have all the answers. We know we're going to change things as we go around, but please understand why we are doing this. I don't work for the resort. I work for the homeowners of the foundation. It's my job to take care of those homeowners as best I can with what we have under CC&Rs, what we have from the physical standpoint, and to make it so that you have a good time when you come up here. And those people that aren't homeowners, If you're bad people, you're gonna get towed, and I won't feel bad about it. But there will be plenty of information. They'll get their mulligans, but quite frankly, if they get towed, I'm not gonna cry. I may go home and have another bourbon and say, oh, too bad. But it's all about you as homeowners being able to protect you and your property and why you bought up here in the first place. And if nothing else, I can't thank you all enough for your input and your questions and your comments, and really do appreciate taking the time to do this. Thank you.
Probably do this again.
Oh, we're gonna do it again.
Yeah, as decisions are made and we get more information, you know, keep an eye on the updates. We'll have more of these to try to be proactive on the communication stuff, so
Yeah.
keep an eye out.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.